first 2 weeks of October is hardly known for great hunting. However, 2019 proves that there are exceptions to every rule. Multiple cold fronts have spurred plenty of mature buck action. Now we are looking forward to each day as if it were the rut. This is the backdrop as we head into the second half of the month. October 16th, the same night Jared encounters the big deer, Mike Reed decides to make his first hunt on the river farm.
Well, it's Wednesday, October 16th, and we're down on Jared and I's farm. I worked this morning. I took the afternoon off, so we drove down. Weather's nice today. The high is 51. We have a northwest wind, the pressure's rising, and it just feels like fall. It feels nice and cool. And we're set up on this little tiny turnip plot. We've got a camera right here on the corner on this scrape that we made. And we're getting both Todd Gurley and this big typical buck we call Andrew Luck. We haven't had Andrew Luck on camera for a while. We think he's living across the road, but the corn's been coming out across the road. They're combining it, so I think that there's a chance he's going to move back in here, or at least start visiting this area. And Todd Gurley is all over the farm. He's been here for 3 years, and he's been on this camera. I haven't had him daylight on this camera, but he's been really close to daylight. And he's been on other cameras in daylight, not that far away. So, you know, there's a chance that he pops out with this nice weather a little bit earlier. It's a great feeling evening, and I'm looking forward to the hunt.
None of the bucks Mike was hoping to see show up this evening. Mike's strategy for hunting a very small food plot is one of our favorite methods for targeting bucks all season. These micro plots produce close-range shots that are ideal for bow hunters. But Drake Lamb shows that going against the grain and getting aggressive can lead to success too. On the evening of October 17th, Drake hangs 2 stands deep in the timber with hopes of catching a buck coming back to bed the following morning. It is an aggressive play, but Drake knows he will not be hunting the Missouri farm often, and pushing a bit early won't necessarily hurt him later. Drake's plan works perfectly when the following morning, a solid buck makes his way right past the bow hunter's stand.
Mac.
He was killed. I think I put a good shot on him.
Unfortunately, miscommunication leads to the cameraman filming the wrong deer during the shot. Despite the mess-up, the big buck proves that hunting bedding areas can sometimes pay off in October. Drake Lamb isn't the only one making an aggressive play. The next day, October 19th, brings rain in eastern Iowa. Jared Mills takes advantage of the wet conditions to press in on the big deer.
You're only going to be able to see probably from there on.
And you're probably within 60 or 70 where he's bedding.
Yeah, that's 70 right there.
Yeah.
I mean, he could be bedded anywhere right here. Seems so dumb. Alright, it's October 19th, and once again we're making a very aggressive move on this big deer. Probably the most aggressive move we made yet. We know where this deer is bedded. We saw him come out of that area the other night. And it was basically just confirmation of what the cameras were telling us where he's bedded, but it was good to see that to confirm it. However, it gave me no game plan of how I can get closer without hunting on the ground, and that's exactly what we're gonna do tonight. Grant, as the cameraman, is gonna be back in a blind, actually, probably at least 100 yards away from where I'm at. He'll be able to see the whole thing. I'm gonna try to get tight in some CRP and some cattails within about 50 yards of where it came out, and probably within 75 yards of where I think he's bedded. So it's gonna be, and it's dead still. There's basically no wind right now, so I don't really have any noise to cover, but it just got done raining right as we pulled in. So everything's wet, should be able to get in quietly. It's just gonna be a matter of A, him coming out to the beans where I'm sitting over, and then B, me seeing him before he sees me. I shouldn't have to deal with other deer. I mean, it's obviously a possibility. The other night he was the first and only deer we saw. So I'm hoping he just does that same thing. We'll be in the game tonight.
While Jared inches his way forward, 90 miles to the west, with sunny skies, I'm heading in for an afternoon hunt. The rain just went through about a half an hour ago, and the sky is starting to clear up here. The spot I'm going to this evening, I kind of wish that I was going after that bladed 10 tonight, but I'm not. I'm going down into a valley in a part of the farm that I haven't hunted in several years. And there's a big and beastie plot down there and a redneck blind right on the edge of it. And it should be a really good spot for seeing deer. And that's my goal for this evening, is to use this as a scouting mission, just because, again, I haven't been there in a long time. This is a part of the farm that really could produce a surprise buck. And that would be a good thing right now. I did find 2 more on trail cameras in the past few days here that I would add to my list. So I'm up to 5 bucks now on the farm that I would call shooters. So tonight is going to be twofold: scouting, seeing what's coming out in this little field, and then hopefully to shoot a doe or 2. It'll be fun. It's always a good, cool spot to hunt, and we almost never hunt there without seeing some deer. So there's going to be some action, I almost guarantee that. That worked out perfect. That's what we came in here for. And every single one of those, you know, I was talking with Tyler before the shot. Every single one of them, you have to guess what they're gonna do. You know, are they gonna drop when you shoot? Are they not? And then you have to aim accordingly. And I aimed a little bit low on her. So I'm gonna put another arrow on and get ready here in case another doe comes out, or, you know, we got a couple hours left. So there's some chance that, you know, even a buck that we'd be interested in shooting could come out. But either way, it's fun. I like being in new places that I haven't been in several years. It's just fun to, you know, see what comes out and do a little bit of scouting. As I enjoy the beautiful afternoon, waiting on another doe to make it into bow range, back in eastern Iowa, Jared Mills is still crawling closer to where he believes the big buck is living.
Well, I've been sitting here halfway through the walk-in for over half an hour.
spot I was wanting to get to, there's already, I just said, don't have to worry about deer, but there's 2 deer that I've seen so far walking through the area I wanted to sit. One's a little spike and one's a decent looking 8. I think he should be out in the beans right now. Once he gets in the beans, Grant should be able to film him. Grant's already in the blind. But I'm stuck back over here, still trying to get to my spot. You know, that's the problem with coming in right when the rain stops. The deer a lot of times like to get up and move around a little bit after it's been raining. So that's what I'm running into right now. It's starting to get late. It's probably 4:45, so I need to get up there and get set up, but the last thing I want to do is bump a deer right to where this big deer's bedded. It's 5:45 right now. So it took me almost 2 hours to make it to the spot I wanted to set up. I like my setup if he does the same thing he did last time. But if he's bedded where he has been, I should be within 70 yards of him, roughly. So we'll see what happens. It looks like the deer been moving decent, so that's a good sign. Just gotta hope he comes this way tonight.
There he is.
Hadn't even been set up for 10 minutes. He just came out behind a doe. And he saw me before I saw him. So he was locked onto me, but he wasn't sure what I was. And he walked, I don't know, within 10 yards probably, 12 yards. But he was in this tall CRP, so I couldn't shoot. And he walked on the downwind side of me and got my wind. I
I really think if I would have spotted him first and he would have followed that doe, would have been over. What a perfect 25, 30 yard quartering away shot. Man, it's pretty crazy how a plan can come together like that. I mean, that is exactly what I set up for right there. I didn't expect it to actually happen, to be honest. Just gotta hope I didn't do too much damage.
After Jared's encounter of a lifetime, my hunt seems tame by comparison. I finish off the evening with one doe down, watching fog roll into the valley. "40 miles to the east, team member Jason McManus is riding high after recently filling his early season muzzleloader tag. Now Jason is back in the field. The evening of October 20th finds him heading to hunt an urban zone near his home.
Afternoon to Sunday, October 20th. It's not ideal conditions today, even though it's the second half of October. It's about 65 degrees, kind of a stagnant wind, slightly east. So I'm actually just focusing on trying to fill some urban doe tags. Every year you have to earn a buck tag for the following year by shooting 3 does. So I'd like to get a doe or 2 on the ground tonight. It is the second half of October, so basically you never know what's going to happen. So hopefully we have an exciting hunt here, and anything that I see, I'll be sure to fill you in on.
As Jason patiently waits for the deer to move through, 100 miles to the southwest, Owen Reigler is heading to the infamous walnut tree, hoping to see the huge 10-pointer he calls Digits.
Well, we just got nestled in here. It's about 4:45 right now. We got all kinds of food around us. We got a clover trail right here. I'm hoping they come down. Beans on the other side of that by the redneck blind. And then corn in front of us. And then more clover about 70, 80 yards over. That's some of that pure trophy clover we frost seeded this spring. That stuff looks phenomenal. Came up perfect. So we'll have to see where all they feed. They may stay out of range over that corn and clover, but we got a nice little pinch point right here. And that Digits buck, he's been known to bed in that next draw over, and if so, I like our odds of getting him to come through here. So we'll just have to see if he's in here today, but we should be in for a pretty good sit once this wind calms down. I had a good feeling about today, and sure enough, it's like 5:15. We've already had a pile of does come through, and we just seen a shooter right there. That's that white 8 right there. He just kind of went to the north, but that's a big old bodied deer. Hopefully he'll come back this way. Let this wind die down. We could always try calling to him.
Owen's rubbing post works perfectly, but the buck is several years too young. As Owen waits for digits to show up, back in the heart of the city, Jason McManus's doe hunt changes direction very quickly.
Just got my urban bow buck. I watched him drop. Perfect 22 yard shot. Absolutely perfect. Holy cow. That's my first urban bow buck. He came out of absolutely nowhere.
See him laying right here. You can already see he's a nice wide. I think he's an 8 with a little split making a 9, but he's only about 10 yards away, so let's go get a good look at him. He's beautiful, nice wide buck. Holy cow. Wow. That's incredible. What a hunt, man. That's what it's all about right there. That's a beautiful deer. Well, I got to get this guy, he actually can't clean deer on this city land, so I got to get him out to a buddy's house and get him field dressed and everything, but we'll get a little bit more footage of him, but he's stunning. This is what it's all about. I got a buck last Sunday, and now a week later here got a nice mature 8, so man, this is going down as the best start to a year I've ever had, that's for sure.
With Jason's great urban zone buck, October continues to produce for our team. And despite the fact that Owen did not see the big 10-pointer he was hunting, his spirit soars as the wild sounds of fall pierce the evening air, closing out another action-filled day. The day following Jason McManus's success, I find myself back hunting the bladed 10. Recent photos of the buck again fuel my belief that I'm only a step or two behind him. Maybe this will be the day I catch up. As the slow hunt wears on, I spend my time planning for a blind-eyed buck that recently showed up. By the end of the evening, I've devised a strategy for the next day, but October 22nd brought a surprise. Our daughter's dog Bentley disappeared, and I spent the entire day looking for him without luck. The next morning I am up early, continuing my search for the dog. By afternoon, deflated from another empty day of searching, I decide to hunt. The wind is light and variable, wrong for my plan to hunt old One-Eye. Instead, I decide to sit in a redneck blind that will contain my scent. This afternoon we were planning on going after old One-Eye, but the forecast that we looked at two different wind forecasts, the hourly forecast. One was southwest to to west to northwest. The other one was south, southeast to west. It wasn't going to work. It's not worth taking a chance when you've got winds that are changing that much to go after one of your targets. So we're going to go in and sit in a blind this evening in a spot that historically it's been a really good spot. You know, I've seen and killed a lot of good bucks back here. I haven't had a buck on camera this year back in here that I wanted to hunt, but that's not to say that a surprise buck couldn't pop out. I mean, if I was going to pick a spot for a surprise buck, this would be one of them, because there's plenty of food back here. This has been, like I said, historically a really good spot. So that's what we're going to do this evening. Not cutting our losses for sure. You know, it's still a good hunt, but it would have been fun to go after that one-eyed buck. Didn't get a chance to go after him last night. That was the promise, but one of our dogs disappeared yesterday. I spent all of yesterday afternoon looking for that dog, and then all of today up until about an hour ago, and still haven't found him. You know, it's a bummer, but hopefully he's going to show back up again. But it's kind of fun to just kick back and not have any real agenda, just relax and see what comes out this evening. With deer filtering into the Big and Beastie plot, 80 miles to the northwest, Jared Mills is taking a break from the big deer to hunt his river farm.
It's October 23rd, and Grant and I are settled in for the evening. Primary target tonight would be merino or gurley. I haven't pulled this camera that's on this plot in quite a while, so I don't know if they're using this area, but it looks like there's quite a few deer using this. You can see the Big and Beastie that did really well, and there's a lot of half-eaten turnips out there. I think the conditions are going to be better the next couple of days, but we wanted to come out and try it tonight. Four fawns. Out the same spot as a small buck. It's a better buck. Oh, it's the black-eyed den. He's grooming that other buck.
Jared has buck action, just not the right deer. Back on my small plot, I'm enjoying a relaxing evening in the blind. Got about 45 minutes left, maybe a little bit more than that. And there is a doe and two fawns that are working their way in from the north. And I shot two does here the last time I was in here, but I would be tempted, if she gives me a good shot, to try to take this doe. We had a small buck and a bunch of turkeys out in front earlier, but that's been it so far. Did get some good news though, that the dog showed up at the neighbor's. He was gone for a day and a half, so that was good. Don't have to spend the day tomorrow looking for it, I guess. Hopefully we'll have a buck pop out here. There's plenty of food. This is a Big and Beastie patch, and there's a lot of it left. So there should be more deer popping out here, I would think, before the evening's over. Buck from last year, I think. Holy crap, yep it is. What a buck. I'm gonna have to make a decision if he comes out in the front. If you got enough light. Oh gosh. We were talking about a surprise buck, and this would be the spot for him, and that was a surprise buck. Wow. What a deer. That thing is awesome. The brows on that thing had to have been 8 or 10 inches long. Oh man, I'm shaking now. I don't shake very often, but we had a pretty good standoff there. I think Drake is shaking too. We'll try to gain a little composure here and then go over and take a look at him. But man, what a deer. Whew. Baby. I'm sure glad that we came to this spot tonight. We filmed that deer in the next field to the south last year on, I think it was like November 9th or 10th. And he looked big then, but he looks a lot bigger now. Dang, who'd have thought? 23rd of October. What a buck. Dang. There's some blood right down here. So this is where he was kind of stumbling around, right?
He ran straight through the trail.
Oh, there he is right there. Oh gosh, look at that thing. Oh, look at the size of that thing. Oh man. Unbelievable. I think there's something about just getting lucky and killing a deer that you didn't really know was there that is so appealing. I mean, I think I have more fun shooting this deer under these circumstances than if I'd been hunting him all season long. But when he popped out and Drake saw him along the edge of the field there and he said, "There's a really big buck," right away I recognized him from that frame as that same deer. So it's pretty cool, really cool, you know, to have that much luck fall right into your lap. He's everything you could possibly want. I'm humbled and I'm blessed to be able to hunt deer like this on a farm like this. Dang, you know, it's gonna be hard to top this one. We've got some season left, but I'm gonna be kind of riding the adrenaline from this hunt for a really long time. So I appreciate, you know, all of the viewers that have, you know, stuck with us over the years watching Midwest Whitetail, and you know, it's just fun to just see it go from, you know, some pretty lean years to, you know, now lucking into a really good deer.
We got us a good one tonight, boys. Woo! I literally looked over and I was just like, holy crap, Bill, big deer. Big deer at like 30 yards.
Just got my urban bow buck. I watched him drop. I really think if I would have spotted him first and he would have followed that doe, would have been over 25, 30 yard quartering away shot.
Surprise. That is the best word to describe not only the buck that stepped from the cover in front of my blind, but the entire month of October so far. I can't remember when we have had more good buck encounters during what is normally a transitional month. I was able to tag an incredible deer, one that I had not seen since the previous November. Jason McManus went from hunting does to sitting behind one of his best bucks, and Jared Mills was 12 yards from the biggest deer he's ever hunted. Despite this very surprising week, we look ahead with increased hope. The last week of October is always good, and now we are right on its doorstep. And beyond that door, well, you know what comes next. That is the time we are gearing for. That is when we start chasing November.